Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're doing the best shooting guards in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM tier list. Now, before we hop into this video, if you haven't, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 4,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I'm still forgetting that we already hit 3K. I really do appreciate all the recent support on the channel. Channel has been growing a lot in the last couple weeks, and I really do appreciate everybody who's been in here showing love and showing love on the videos. Also, one other thing I do want to mention, I don't mention this in very many of my videos, but I feel like I should mention it more, is that I stream on Twitch basically every single day over at twitch.tv/xjc2k. My link is down in the description down below, so make sure y'all go follow the Twitch if y'all enjoy watching 2K content on Twitch. I stream over there, stream a lot of competitive games, tournaments, unlimited grinds, things like that. So if y'all ever have any questions or just want to watch some MyTEAM content, make sure y'all go drop a follow over on the Twitch. But yeah, without further ado, let's not waste the time. Let's hop right into it and start off with the first shooting guard on this list, who is Mr. Andrew Wiggins. And I think Wiggins probably slots in right around that B tier of shooting guard. Definitely not the best card in the world, but not a bad card whatsoever at this point in the year. Yeah, I mean, he's solid. He's got a 95 offense, 93 defense, 6'8", which is elite size of the shooting guard, 3 out of 5 hot spots, 5 hops, which are some good finishing ones. Shooting badges are pretty solid, can get limitless and sniper if you want. Badge-wise, he's pretty complete. Doesn't get rim protector, but defensive stats are pretty solid. A lot of good gold badges, solid shooter, really elite dunker, and really good speed and acceleration as well. Jumper is good. Jump shot 22 is one of the better bases in the game, same as guys like Jimmy Butler, Ben Gordon, Chris Mullin, and players like that. Slasher dribble style, his movement isn't great. That's a big thing that will take you down on this list, especially at that shooting guard position. Your dribble style needs to be good in this point. At this point in the game, my personal opinion, for me to be using you on my God squad, at least at the point guard and shooting guard position. And Wiggins does not have that good dribble style, and also just doesn't have a ton of elite Hall of Fame badges. So for me, he's not any higher than B tier, but not a bad card whatsoever. Joe Johnson, I think, does deserve to slot in at that A tier. Definitely a really good card. The biggest flaw with Joe Johnson by far is the fact that he only has an 85 stamina. Now you might be asking, 85 stamina, that's not that bad, right? Stamina, for whatever reason, if it's not in those 90s, if for whatever reason just doesn't seem to allow you to dribble with the player too much and use them on the court for a significant period of time, by the end of about a quarter of gameplay on the court, he gets tired, and that's definitely a flaw. But for that quarter, he is a great card, no doubt about it. Really good speed, excellent speed with ball, great shooter, dunker, defender, really complete card as well. Great badges like limitless post stars or blinders, catch and shoot, deadeye, limitless sniper, quick first step, clamps, menace, pickpocket. His Hall of Fame badges are basically all elite, really good Hall of Fame badges, pretty complete card all the way around. Can get defensive badges like rim protector and post lockdown as well. And then shooting wise, jump shot 38 on quick is one of the better jumpers in the game. Really smooth, easy to green, shifty dribble style as well. Not a lot of flaws in this card. Doesn't have the greatest sigs in the world, I would say, in terms of his movement in the half court. Full court, it's not great either. So I like the card. He's got good sigs, good jumper, all those things. Nothing bad about this card, but I don't think he's quite in that top 5. So for me personally, he's not quite an S tier guy. Although I may change my mind. I might actually move him up to S tier. We'll have to wait and see. Gordon Hayward is another card who I honestly don't know really where to rate, because I have not looked at this card at all. He came out this past week in the free Jason Tatum grinds that you could do through the agenda card. He's one of the pink diamonds. He's 6'8" with a negative wingspan at 6'7", but 6'8" in height is really good at the shooting guard position. 3 out of 5 hot spots, 10 hops, including a bunch of good shooting ones like catch and shoot, deadeye, sniper, blinders. Defensive badges are solid. He can get badges like handles for days, rim protector, post lockdown as well. Defensive stats, not the greatest, but not bad at all. Does have a good block rating, 80, which is nice. 85 driving dunk, really good shooter. Not the greatest speed for a shooting guard, I will say. But jump shot 28 is not a bad jumper whatsoever. Nice, smooth, easy to green release. Not the greatest in the world. Movement wise is not elite. So yeah, because of his lack of speed, lack of rebounding, I think we'll leave him in the B tier for now. We'll see if we wind up moving him down to the C tier, depending on where else we put a lot of these guys on this list. But not a bad card, not an elite card is the way I look at Gordon Hayward. Doug West, again, I don't really know a lot about this card. I know he came out at the beginning of season 4, but I don't exactly know where I'd place him. 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan, only 1 hotspot, 10 Hall of Fames, which include mostly finishing badges as well as downhill quick first step, good speed, excel, speed with ball, great dunker, shooter, decent-ish defender, not the highest block rating, but it's not too low to be able to make contact with the ball. Jumper is 107 on quick, which is not a bad jumper, same base as Tatum. Shifty dribble style as well is good. So movement, he's solid. This card looks on paper like a solid card. Does get limitless, does get sniper, does get handles for days, does get rim protector, post lockdown. Like, he's a pretty solid card. Interceptor. You're definitely going to need to badge him out if you want to use him, because he's missing a lot of badges, and he's still going to be missing a couple of key badges no matter how you do badge him out. But overall, he looks like a really solid card. Not the most elite of defenders, but I think he does deserve to, again, be in that B tier. And he looks like one of the best cards that's going to be in B tier as well. I'm a little worried we're going to have a lot of B tiers because Jaylen Brown is just yet another really solid shooting guard. Not a lot of holes in this card. He's not able to create his own shot, but he is an elite defender and a really nice shooter. 6'6" with a 6'11" wingspan, a solid player, built hotspots from 4 out of 5 spots. Good finishing badges, shooting badges, playmaking badges are solid. Can get handles for days, can get rim protector and post lockdown. Hall of Fame pick dodger and pogo stick are nice. He comes with gold limitless already, which is good. Good shooter, dunker, solid athlete, solid enough defender. Not the greatest, not the worst, but he's a really solid defender. Jumper is good. Movement, again, is a flaw. It does hold him back. It's kind of a similar card to Andrew Wiggins. I would say he's not quite as good offensively maybe, and he's probably slightly better defensively. So definitely a really solid card. Not a bad option at all at that shooting guard for a free card. Keller Ewbury Jr. I would slot in at that next tier below at the C tier. He is 6'7" with a 7'2" wingspan, so he does have really good size for the shooting guard position. Hotspots from basically everywhere. 9 hoffs. Almost all shooting badges can get. Already comes with limitless as well, which is nice. In fact, they all are shooting badges. Needs a lot of defensive badges like a chase down artist, clamps, pick dodger, rim protector. So definitely going to want to add defensive badges to this card if you want to use them defensively as well statistically. Pretty mediocre, not great interior or block as well. Good dunker, shooter, decent-ish speed, not great. Jumper is mediocre. This 39 base is not great, I will say. I would like it to be better. And power dribble style as well is not good. So because of the jumper being kind of mediocre and the movement being mediocre as well as not being the best defender, I think he slots in probably around that C tier. Mike Miller somehow dragged into F tier. I think, looking at the guys in this list, I think Mike Miller deserves to be in that A tier. He's a really, really good card. We may have to rearrange this list a little bit as well, just based on the way that it goes, because I didn't exactly plot this one out before I worked on it. But 6'8" with 6 level wingspan is, again, elite size. The shooting guard position. A 6'8" player is always going to be nice. Hotspots from all 5 spots. 6 Hall of Fames, which include key ones like limitless posterizer, limitless spot up, catch and shoot, and quick first step. 94 speed and excel, 90 speed with ball, 95 driving dunk. Really good shooter. Solid defender. Defensive badges aren't the greatest, but he can get the interceptor. He can get the pickpocket, rim protector, post lockdown. So he definitely can get good defensive badges, maybe handles for days as well. And badged out, he's solid, especially at 6'8". He's going to be a good defender. Jump shot 22 is that same really nice base as a guy like Wiggins. He's just a better Andrew Wiggins. Similar in defense, better movement for sure, coming with that shifty dribble style. So he's got much better sigs than a Wiggins in a half-court situation. His jumper is super smooth, really easy to green. He's a great slasher. A little bit bigger, or I'm sorry, similar size to Wiggins as well. I just think his movement on offense is improved, and that's why I'm going to put him in that A tier instead of in the B tier. Victor Oladipo is going to slot in at the C tier because of how small he is. At only 6'4" with not a good player build, that does hold the card back. 98 defense, 94 offense. Stats are really solid. Badge-wise, solid as well. Good finishing ones as well as clamps and ankle braces. Defense is solid. A decent block rating. Good dunker. Solid shooter and really good athlete as well. Jumper is good. 95 with Trey Burke base, but the base dribble style is just not very good, especially with a guy who is undersized, that shooting guard position that doesn't have an elite player build. That holds the card back for sure. For that reason, I'm going to slot him in at the C tier, despite the fact that I do think he's a decent card all the way around. Hamidou Diallo, I'm slotting him in D tier for now. I'm going to look at the card just to confirm that, but 6'5" with a 6'11" wingspan, no 3-point hotspots, 5 hoffs, but no shooting badges, needs limitless, needs sniper, needs handles for days, needs pick dodger, rim protector, post lockdown. He needs a lot of badges. Defensive stats are solid on the perimeter, but a 56 block is really low. 95 driving dunk is great, but he's not a great shooter. Speed is pretty good. Set shot 3, though. Oh, gross. He's a set shot at the 2. Yeah, this card stinks. We're going to put him in the D tier. Not much else to look at, I think, for a guy like Hamidou Diallo. Joe Caldwell, I think, is another solid C tier guy. He's not bad, but he's not elite. 6'5" with a 6'8" wingspan, isn't elite size. He's a solid shooter, does have 90 shot 30, 90 speed and excel, 95 driving dunk, 86 speed with ball, solid defender, but not a great block rating. Defensive badges, not crazy. Shooting badges also, they're solid, they're good, but they're not nothing like jumps off the page. You have sniper and catch and shoot is nice, but doesn't have candles for days. It doesn't get rim protector. As a Evo card, you can't add any badges to him, and that holds the card back for sure. Jumper is good. Slasher dribble style, though, is not great, and like I said, he is a bit undersized as well, so I think he does deserve to slot in the C tier, similar to a guy like Victor Oladipo. Now, Wesley Matthews. I have no idea where to put this card because I have never looked at the card in my life, but 6'4" with a 6'8" wingspan, so not elite size. Hotspots from everywhere outside the 3-point line. 1 hoff. Needs limitless spot up. Needs quick first step. Needs rim protector, post lockdown, chase down artist. As an amethyst, you're not going to want to pay to add those badges to him. Not the fastest, not the best dunker, but not terrible. Low block rating. Base dribble style. 38 on normal isn't bad, but it's not as good as 38 on quick. Yeah, just because of the amount of badges he's missing, the fact that he's not an elite interior defender, doesn't have elite athletic ability. I think he's okay. I don't think he's great. I think C tier probably is fair for a guy like Wesley Matthews. A little bit of a 3 and D guy, basically, is what I'd say. 6'4" with a 6'9" wingspan for Eric Gordon, with 4 hotspots, no Hall of Fame badges. Good shooting badges, though. Playmaking badges are okay, but he doesn't get handles for days. Defensive badges needs a lot of them, and as a Ruby, you're not going to pay to put him on him. Really mediocre defender, especially with him being small. Not a great slasher either. This card's... Oscar release on quick is good, but slasher dribble style, the amount of badges that he's missing, and the poor defensive ability, that holds this card back. I think he's another D tier guy. One thing I do want to mention, by the way, before I continue in this video, it's tough to rank these tier lists as we progress through the year. It becomes harder and harder to rank these guys. There's just one thing I want to mention. Even the guys who are in the lower tiers are not going to be as bad as you would think compared to guys earlier in the year where you're looking at some truly atrocious cards on the first couple tier lists that I'm going to make. At this point in the year, even the bad cards aren't quite as bad. Just not on the same level as these guys that I have higher up in the S, A, and B tier. So just keep that in mind as you're looking at the video. Isaiah Ryder, as another Ruby who I just don't think is an elite card. I don't think he's a great option, but I don't think he's completely awful. Is 6'5" with a 6'8" wingspan, so not elite size, but not bad. 3 out of 5 hotspots, 31 golds, including some solid shooting badges. Defensive badges aren't good, though. Shooting badges aren't good. Defensive stats are bad. Really good dunker, but he's slow. LeBron jumper, power dribble style. This card stinks. Looking at this list, I feel like I got to put a couple cards in F tier, and this Isaiah Ryder card is about as bad as any card in this list. So I'm going to slide him in that F tier. Sorry, Isaiah. Reggie Lewis is an S-tier shooting guard. There's no doubt about that in my mind whatsoever. 6'7" with a 6'8" wingspan. Hotspots are almost everywhere. 15 hoffs, including elite defensive badges like Clamps Interceptor, Intimidator, Menace, Pickpocket, Pogo Stick, Quick First Step as well. Good finishing badges. Pretty complete shooter. Can get blinders, chef, rim protector, post lockdown. Elite defender, both in terms of his defensive stats on the perimeter and the interior. Great dunker, shooter, athlete. Has the best defensive tendencies in the game with 98 pass interception, on-ball steal, contest, and block shot tendencies, as well as no foul tendencies. Elite dunker, elite shooter in terms of Kimbo release with quick. It's really fast, smooth, and easy to green. Shifty dribble style, the Pippin behind the back, which is the Pro 3 in the full court. He is maybe the best shooting guard in the game. He's my favorite shooting guard in the game. I'll tell you that right now. And I think he is without a doubt an S tier guy. Iggy. This may get changed, but for now I'm going to put him in the S tier because of how elite of a defender he is. 6'6" with a 6'11" wingspan, a solid player, both 4 out of 5 hotspots, 15 hoffs, including basically all the key perimeter defensive badges you could have, as well as quick first step, post riser, limitless takeoff, elite defensive stats all the way across the board. Great dunker, shooter, athlete, just overall an elite card. Iggy release on quick is phenomenal. The slasher dribble style holds this card back, but he is such a good defender, has a great jumper, really smooth jumper, great slasher. He does everything that you need a card to do on the court except for create his own shot at such a high level that for the time being I'm going to put him in the S tier. Will he stay? We'll see. Luka Doncic. He's either in the B or the C tier. I don't know which one he really deserves to be in, though. This is tough. I think I'm going to go with Luka in the B tier, and I think I'm actually going to move Doug West up because he does have good sig, so I think he's okay. We're going to put Luka in the B tier for now. The Evolved Luka isn't a bad card. He's not an elite card. I wish he was an elite card because obviously Luka's my favorite player in the league. But Evo Luka is not bad. He's 6'7" at the shooting guard position, so he has solid size, 15 hoffs, including really good shooting badges, Hoff clamps, Hoff slither, Hoff floor general, Hoff space creator. Really solid defensive stats on everything except for block. Decent-ish slasher. Not the fastest card. Really good shooter, but his jumper is mediocre. He is an opal, and he's just not a great opal. Jumper is mediocre. Sigs are really mediocre. He's not. I don't know. I wish he was so much better. We're gonna get a God Luka card at some point this year. Is going to be one of the best players at the point guard position in the game when he does come out at some point this year. I'm very confident of that, but that time's not now. I got to put Luka in C tier. I'm sorry. Not a card I would be running. I'm going to put him in that C tier. Cazzy Russell, I do think does belong in the S tier for a couple different reasons. He is the best 300 card in the game, in my opinion. 6'5" with a 6'8" wingspan, 4 out of 5 hotspots, 10 hoffs, including decent finishing ones, catch and shoot, sniper, bullet passer, dimer. Solid all-around defender, does get rim protector, has gold quick first step, handles for days already, can get chef, blinders, limitless as well. Really solid defender, both the interior and the perimeter. Good dunker, good shooter, good speed ball, and acceleration. Jump shot 3 on quick. This is the biggest thing about this card. This is the fastest jumper in the game and one of the easier ones to green as well. This is, in my opinion, the best jump shot in the game currently. Quick dribble style as well, so he has good sigs in the half court. And this Kobe Bryant size up, which is the best size up in the game, easiest for crabbing, and with a release this quick, being able to crab is super, super elite. I like the 3 hunt, and for that reason, I think Cazzy Russell 100% deserves to be an S tier shooting guard. Definitely an elite card. Bradley Beal. He's great in real life. He's not great in 2K. I'm sorry. 6'3" is too small at the shooting guard position. He's a great shooter, has a really good release. Defensive stats are amazing, but he's 6'3" with a low block rating. Like, he's just not going to be able to compete on that interior at all. He's going to get mashed to death. He's not an elite dunker, even though he's okay. Jumper is elite, but he doesn't even have the quicker, shifty dribble style. He's got slasher dribble style. He's undersized. Despite the fact that his defensive stats are really good and his defensive badges are really good, he's just not going to be great in that area. As a playmaker without quicker, shifty, he's super limited. He's a catch and shoot guy who kind of plays defense, at least on the perimeter, but defense in the interior, he's so mediocre. Ignore the stats and badges. Bradley Beal just isn't very good. Sorry to say it. Terry Dishinger. I'm looking at my list, and I'm going to struggle. I think I got to put Terry in S tier and move Iggy down to A tier because Iggy doesn't have the shot creating. That's the biggest thing for me, is Iggy's lack of shot creation is going to keep him out of the top 5 shooting guards in the game, in my opinion. But Terry is a monster. 6'7" with a 7'3" wingspan. He has the size of a Kawhi Leonard in terms of his player build. Hotspots from everywhere outside the 3-point line. 9 hops include post riser, catch and shoot, sniper, quick first step, intimidator. Really good defensive stats on both the interior and the perimeter. Really good dunker, shooter. Speed is phenomenal. Just overall, really good card. Can get rim protector, post lockdown. Basically every badge except for Limitless, and I don't think Limitless holds this card back. He also has the Rudy Gay release on quick, which is one of the best jumpers in the game. The quick dribble style, the pippin behind the back, good half court sigs. This card moves. He is one of the best shooting guards in the game. I love Terry Dishinger. He's my backup shooting guard on my God squad right now, and I think he does deserve to be in the S tier, despite the fact that some of y'all may not. I really love the card. Jay Rich, I think, is another just okay shooting guard. Not a great card, but I think he does slot in at that B tier pretty fairly. 6'6", hotspots from everywhere outside the 3-point line. 9 hops include good finishing ones, catch and shoot, quick first step, and pogo stick. Defensive stats are really mediocre. He is an elite slasher with good shooting and really good speed and acceleration, but he needs some good badges added to him. Jumper is solid, but not the greatest. But I don't dislike the jumper at all, I will say that. Power dribble style is not great, so he's not a great shot creator. Mediocre defender, mediocre shot creator. I just can't put him any higher than B tier at this point in the year. Michael Redd. I almost am tempted to even put this card in C tier. And you know what? I'm going to put him in C tier. He's a great shooter. He doesn't give you much else on the court. I guess he's an okay defender, but he is 6'6". That's solid size. Defensive stats are okay. Again, not great. Gold badges, gold playmaking badges. Elite shooter, but he needs some badges added to him both in the playmaking area and the defensive areas. Decent slasher as well, but he's an elite shooter. Ray Allen base on normal, left-handed, super easy to green. Sigs are not good though, and the lack of sigs, the mediocre defense, he just doesn't play that good. He's an elite shooter, and I guess for that reason I should put him in the B tier because of how good of a shooter he is, but he's just not great at anything else. And yeah, I think he'd probably B tier. B and C, somewhere in there is pretty fair for him. Klay Thompson again, one of those shooting guards who is right up there in terms of arguably the best shooting guard in the game. One of the more complete cards in my team as well currently. 16 hops, 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan, solid finishing badges, but elite shooting badges and elite defensive badges. He's an elite 3-and-D guy who can also create really good defensive stats, solid dunker, good shooter, really solid athletic ability, elite sigs as well. His jumper is phenomenal, shifty dribble style, the Kobe size up, pro 2 between the legs, going up the court. This card is a superstar, one of the best shooting guards in the game. You can make an argument he's the best, and yeah, Klay is a monster. 100% deserves to be in that S tier. Caron Butler, is he C or D? I don't know. This card was decent when he came out, but it's been too long at this point for this card to be worth using. 6'7" is nice, but 4 out of 5 hotspots, it's good. But the thing is, shooting badges wise, he's got a lot of shooting badges, but catch and shoot was really the only super key one, I would say. Total badge count is not very good. He's missing way too many playmaking defensive badges as well. Not fast, not an elite defender whatsoever, not an elite slasher. Jumper is good, and like I said, his shooting badges are decent, but like he's just not great. Movement is not good either. This card does not do anything at an elite level. for that reason, I'm going to put him in that D tier. Chris Mullin, I think, is another D tier guy. A guy who does do one thing at a really good level, but that is the only thing he does well, and that is shoot the ball. He's kind of slow, not a great defender, not a great slasher. All he does is shoot the ball. Shooting badges are good, I will say, but playmaking badges are really mediocre. Same thing with the defensive badges. Jumper is good and releases 22. It's easy to green, but his movement sucks. He is a worse Michael Redd, and a lot worse Michael Redd. Like, he's very, very limited on the defensive end of the court. His movement sucks. This card is not a card I'd recommend running. He probably is the best card in D tier. I think you could move him up to the C tier, and I may actually wind up moving him up to the C tier. But for now, I think D tier seems about fair for a guy like Chris Mullin, unfortunately. Cliff Hagen, I put Michael Redd in B tier, so I feel like I got to put Cliff Hagen in there as well. A guy who's kind of similar to Michael Redd, a little bit more undersized at only 6'4", but he is a little bit better defender in terms of his defensive badges. Shooting wise is solid, needs limitless added though, handles for days, interceptor, post, lockdown, rim protector. He needs a lot of key badges. Defensive stats are solid, not great. Same thing with the slashing. He's a really good shooter, not an incredible athlete. Jumper is really good. Fundamental dribble style is a lot better than a slasher or a power or a base, which is nice. He does have a little bit of shot creation ability, but he's just not he just doesn't jump off the page at you in any area. Not special, just not an elite card. I think probably B tier is, again, pretty fair for a guy like that. Clyde Drexler is maybe the best card in C tier, but I think he probably is C tier at this point. He another card who just doesn't do anything incredibly well, except for, I guess, dunk the ball. Good speed and excel at 94, but low block rating. Really good slasher. Shooting is good, but shooting isn't like jump off the page incredible. I don't know why I'm getting freaking Xbox notifications. This is getting on my nerves. But yeah, finishing badges are good. Shooting badges are okay, but he needs a badges added. Same thing defensively. Playmaking, he needs defensive badges and stuff added to him. Jumper is good, but the movement isn't special. All he does is slash at a high level. He has too many fancy dunks as well. A lot of his dunks are going to get blocked. He's a good shooter. He's got good athleticism. He's just not a jump off the page card at you anymore at this point in the game, especially with his lack of movement. So I think C tier, again, is pretty fair for a guy like that. Dan Marley is really similar, I feel like, to Iggy. Not quite as good of a jumper. Definitely not as good of a card as Iggy, but I think you can still make an argument that he is A tier because he does have really good shooting badges, half catch and shoot sniper as well. All the key gold badges. Playmaking badges are decent. Defensive badges are really good with clamps, pick dodger, pickpocket, menace, ball stripper. Really good defensive stats except for that block rating, but even the block rating is decent. He's a decent dunker, really good shooter, decent athlete as well with 89 speed, excel and speed with ball. And then jump shot 7. Solid, not crazy release, but definitely solid. And fundamental dribble style, again, much better than a much better than a slasher, a base, a power, things like that. And because he has a little bit of movement, is an elite defender and a really good shooter as well. I think he's A tier instead of some of these guys in B tier who just don't move as well as a Dan Marley does. Devon Booker, this moment's card, he was good when he came out. Not a card I ever used, but I think he's okay. 6'6" with a 6'6" wingspan. 3 out of 5 hotspots, 6 hops, which are all shooting ones. Playmaking badges are decent. Defensive badges, he needs a lot added, like clamps, interceptor, intimidator, post lockdown, rim protector. Needs a lot of defensive badges, low block rating, low dunker. He's an okay dunker, I guess. Shooting is good. He's kind of slow, though. Jump shot is really good, but movement is mediocre. He's another C tier guy. I'm sorry. I'm not putting Booker higher than C tier. Dominic Wilkins, on the other hand, I do think is B tier because Dominic has a couple things going for him. For one, he's 6'7" with 6'10" wingspan, so he's got solid size, 94 speed and excel, 86 shot 3, an elite slasher, really solid defender. Does have a good blocker or decent block rating, which is nice. Half quick first step is super nice as well as downhill. Defensive batters are solid. He's just a more complete version of Clyde Drexler. Really good slasher, but also has the fundamental dribble style, a really solid release with jump shot 8. Yeah, I think he's just a better Clyde Drexler. I put Drexler in C tier. Wilkins deserves to be in B tier. Seems pretty fair to me. Drazen Petrovic, I think, is really on the same level as a guy like Chris Mullin. He's going to shoot the ball for you, and that's about it. Not the greatest size at only 6'5", not the fastest, really mediocre defender with a super low block rating, not a good slasher. Defensive badges are okay, but with the low block rating, low interior, he is just going to get killed on the interior. Playmaking badges are solid. Shooting badges are elite, but besides that, he is very limited. Jumper is good, but not great. Movement is mediocre. This is just yet another really mediocre card. I think he's right on the level of a guy like Chris Mullin, who I did put. Where's Chris Mullin? I thought I put him in the D tier. Oh yeah, he is in the D tier. So that seems fair. I think Petrovic goes right where Chris Mullin does. Eddie Jones is not actually that bad of a card. For an Amethyst, he's a pretty good shooting guard. Was one of the best budget cards in the game for his time. 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan, 90 speed and excel. Really solid jumper. Pretty good shooting and playmaking badges. Hoff Interceptor as well as one of the best Hall of Fame badges in the game, as well as good ones like Clamps, Menace, Pick Dodge, or Pickpocket. Needs a Chase Down Artist, Post Lockdown, Rim Protector, and he is an Amethyst, so I don't recommend adding those badges to him. But he's a solid slasher, solid shooter, solid athlete, and really good defender on the perimeter. Interior defense isn't nuts, but I think C tier is fair. I would take him over all the guys at D tier. Really solid jumper as well. Not great movement, but definitely a good 3 and D guy on the perimeter who can also play lanes at a high level and slash really solidly as well. Harden, I think I go B tier for Harden. Harden just doesn't jump off the page at you anymore. Not a bad card. When we get a new Harden, he has potential to be one of the best couple shooting guards or even point guards if he's point guard eligible in the game. 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan. Nice long wingspan, but not the greatest height. 4 Hall of Fame badges, which include Deadeye, Lucky Number 7, Fearless Finisher, and Volume Shooter. Really solid gold badges, pretty much complete all the way around. Does need badges on the defense upgraded, as well as an Interceptor, Post Lockdown, Rim Protector. But besides that, he's solid. Not the greatest block rating either, but he's a good dunker, good shooter, good athlete, has a really nice release, smooth and easy to green. James Harden really dribble style as well as the same as fundamental. So he's got solid movement. He's a solid shooter, solid defender. Overall, he's just a solid card. Again, not a guy who jumps off the page at you, but I think he is solid and I think he deserves to be in that B tier. Jimmy Butler, I think strictly off the strength of his defense is an A tier guy, because what I will say about him is his movement is not great with really mediocre dribble stacks, as well as the fact that he doesn't get the limitless spot up badge, but he is an elite defender on the perimeter, really good on the interior, solid dunker, solid shooter. Jumper is really nice with jump shot 22, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So he's a great catch and shoot guy. Even without limitless, he's a knockdown shooter. Playmaking is decent. Defense is elite. This card is really good. Similar, honestly, to Dan Marley. 2 guys who are really elite defenders and solid shooters who aren't going to give you a ton more on the court. Dr. J, yet again, another guy who I think slots in around that A tier. Another really solid card. Doesn't jump off the page at you, but he's a really good shooter with a 94 shot 3, half limitless, half sniper, half catch. Really good slasher, good acceleration, speed, and speed with ball. Good defender, has a good block rating. Defensive badges are solid. Comes pretty complete, like needs handles for days, interceptor, rim protector, post lockdown. But overall, pretty good card. Really gay release on normal. Even on normal, it's really smooth, quick, and easy to green, and slasher dribble style. Again, not a guy whose movement is great, but he's just a better overall card than a guy like Andrew Wiggins. So I think he deserves to be in that slightly higher tier because he has better badges and overall is one of the better guys at that option. Kawhi Leonard. See, here's the debate, because we have one spot left in S tier, and it could go to a guy like Kawhi Leonard. It can go to Kobe, who we're about to talk to. It can go to Joe Johnson. It can go to Andre Iguodala. This is tough for me. You know what? I think I'm putting Kawhi in S tier. Despite the fact that he has fundamental dribble style and doesn't have quick or shifty, which every other card in S tier has quick or shifty, Kawhi is that good of a defender. 6'7" with a 7'3" wingspan, an elite, super long player build, 4 out of 5 hotspots, 9 hops, which include quick first step and elite defensive badges across the board. He's an elite perimeter defender and a really good interior defender. Great player model, like I said. Really solid athlete, good dunker, good shooter. Shooting badges are pretty complete. Overall, besides Chef and Rim Protector, he's one of the more complete cards in the game badge-wise as a base card. Ray Allen released, even on normal, is phenomenal. And yeah, he's just an elite all-around card. I think you can run with the shooting guard, you can run with the small forward, have a lot of success either way. I want to put him right up there in that top 5, and I think he is the last S-tier shooting guard. One of the A-tier shooting guards, though, for sure has to be Kobe Bryant. He's right up there with the Joe Johnson of the world at that A-tier. And yeah, just a great card. 6'6" with a 6'11" wingspan, 10 hops, which include blinders, sniper, Deadeye, Clamps, Intimidator, Pogo Stick. Really good perimeter defender, solid interior defender, good dunker, shooter, athlete. Pretty complete badge-wise. Again, needs Chef, needs Rim Protector, but overall, pretty darn complete badge-wise, similar to a guy like Kawhi Leonard. Kobe Bryant release, again, similar to Ray Allen release, is really solid, even on normal. And his dribble style acts the same as quick or shifty, so he has really good movement in the half court as well. He's close to Kawhi. It's real close between Kawhi, Kobe, Joe Johnson, Iggy, guys like that. You could really interchange and I think pick one of those guys, one of any of those guys, put them in the S tier. But for me, I'm gonna go Kawhi just because of how elite of a defender he is. But for that reason, Kobe is easily an A tier shooting guard. Manu Ginobili, is a shooting guard who does have good movement, but he's missing a lot of badges. His jumper is mediocre. 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan. Shooting badges are okay. Does get limitless added, but he needs a bunch of defensive badges that he can't get, like interceptor, chase down artist, brick wall, ball stripper. Those are some key badges that he doesn't get. Interior wise, his defense stinks as well, even though it's good on the perimeter. Not a great slasher. Good athlete and solid shooting stats and badges, but like his jumper is really mediocre. Thankfully, he does have 50 dribble style. His movement is really good, but it doesn't make up for the fact that he's not an elite slasher, has a really mediocre jumper, and is bad interior defender. So for that reason, I think I don't know. He's either the best player in C tier or maybe the worst player in B tier. I'm going to put him in B tier because he does still do a solid amount of things okay on the court. So we'll put him in the B tier, but I definitely don't recommend that card at this point in the year. Michael Jordan, it's about time for a new MJ card who's much better, because this MJ, when he came out, even when he came out, was not a great card. At this point, very limited. Not a lot of badges, not a lot of hotspots, actually none from 3. Solid defensive stats, but he's terrible on the interior. He's a really good dunker, but his dunk animations are mediocre. Shooting badges stink, and he doesn't have a great shooting stat. Playmaking, just overall, he's missing a lot of badges, can't get good badges. Jumper is really mediocre. Movement is really mediocre. He's not as bad as a guy like Isaiah Ryder, but he's not a great card whatsoever at this point in the game. ML Carr, right in that D tier as well. You were great for your time, but unfortunately, your time was a while ago. See if we can find him. There we go. 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan, a 75 3-pointer, and no shooting badges. That hurts. Needs a bunch of playmaking badges. They're not worth putting on him at this point. Defensively, he's really good on the perimeter and solid on the interior, and does have decent defensive badges. He's a good dunker, but he's a little bit slow. Jumper on quick 75 is good, but with no shooting badges, it makes it a lot tougher to shoot with him, and you definitely want solid shooting badges on a shooting guard, and his movement is really mediocre. He's another D tier guy. Just doesn't jump off the page at all. Ray Allen, I think... Honestly, Ray Allen probably deserves to go right close to Michael Redd. I put Michael Redd in B tier, so I might have to move Ray Allen up. But he is 6'5", which is an inch shorter than Redd. Does have really good shooting badges, but that's about all he has. Mediocre, not great, but not bad defender. Same thing with his playmaking ability. Dunking is really good. Shooting is absolutely phenomenal, and speed is solid. Ray Allen base, like I said, is phenomenal, but the slasher dribble style is really mediocre. He's very similar to Redd, where he's an elite shooter and doesn't do anything else particularly well. So I think probably B tier is the fairest spot to put him. And then finally, we have Tracy McGrady, who I will put in the A tier simply because of the fact that he's 6'8" and has an elite jump shot. Also a solid defender, really good wingspan at 7'2". Hot spots are almost everywhere. 6 hops, which are blinders, deadeye, sniper, posterizer, auxiliary finisher, and volume shooter. Good speed of ball and acceleration. Good dunker, good shooter, solid defender, good block rating. Needs defensive badges added, like chase down, clamps, interceptor, pick dodger, rim protector, post lockdown. Like, you're going to want to add defensive badges to this card. But with defensive badges, he's going to be a solid defender, has a really good jump shot. Dribbling isn't great, slash dribble style, again, not what you like to see, but I still think he probably is A tier because of his size, his elite shooting, his elite slashing, and his really solid defense that has really contributed to that size as well. So yeah, this is my tier list of the best shooting guards in my team currently. Let me know what you think of my list down in the comment section down below. Who would you rank higher? Who would you rank lower? All those things. And yeah, I would love to hear from you in the comment section down below. Again, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and go follow me on Twitch as well. Links are in the description for my Twitter and my Twitch, so go drop follows on those links. And yeah, that is going to do it for this video, like I said. So yeah, I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.